Hello.
Hi.
Oh, wow. Hi. How are you? I don't see Pam in the waiting room. Um, can you text her? Oh, there she is. Oh, she's there now. Okay.
Oh.
Y'all are early. I was just on time. It's just 12 o'clock now.
Oh, okay.
Because in case,
I mean, yeah, I thought maybe you wanted to get on 5 minutes early or something.
Well, no, because actually we're recording, so you can say hi to everybody. We're already recording.
hello.
Oh, yay, we're already recording. Great.
Yes, it's automatic. But I'm gonna connect it to Facebook. Okay, so give me one sec. So we're not on Facebook yet.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay.
Yay, we're live.
I think so. Let me just check. Do you see it? Okay, I'm gonna check.
I see. That's live.
It says live. Yeah, I think we're live. Hi. Hey, Pam. Hey, Amina. Thanks for being here with me.
Hi,
Uh,
Jivana.
hi. I'm just gonna check that it's actually working. I always like to be sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Double checking is good.
Yeah, there you are. Okay.
Multiple devices.
I
Mm-hmm.
know. Okay, I just need to turn off the volume. Cool. Thank you. Thanks for being here. Hi.
Hi.
How are you both?
As good as as good as I guess we can be.
Right.
Considering all that's going on and the heels of that debate and all of that stuff. So it's good to be, it's good to feel good and be grateful for the things that we do have and
Yeah. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we could do a little centering. Does one of you want to lead something? Would you lead?
I'll lead it.
You will? Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
That would help me.
Okay, let's find our seat. Sit up nice and tall. Take your shoulders up by your ears on an inhale. Exhale, down and back. Softly closing your eyes or lowering your gaze, your choice. And taking a moment to notice the breath, your breathing. Drawing attention to the pace and the cadence of your breath. Noticing if the inhales are longer or the exhales without changing the breath. Just becoming aware. And then draw your attention to your nostrils and see if you can notice which nostril the breath is more prominent in. See if the flow is easier in the left nostril or the right nostril. Maybe it's even. Again, no changing the breath, just an awareness. And from here, bring one thing to mind that you're grateful for. Hold that in your mind's eye and in your heart as we take 3 full cleansing breaths in. Let's breathe in fully. And exhale fully. Doing that 2 more times. Inhale through the nose. And exhale through the nose. 1 more time. Inhaling. Exhaling. Softening the shoulders. Letting that go. Softly open the eyes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
That was awesome. I feel much better now.
Only take a couple minutes, right?
Yeah, that's the magic of yoga.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, so we're here to talk about the conference.
That's
But
right.
we can talk about anything you want. I mean,
It's the conference kickoff. We're like almost a week away, less than a week. So exciting.
is that true? Is it just a week? No.
Well, it's
No.
Wednesday, so
Okay, a week and a half. Yeah. You're, oh,
yeah.
week and 2 days. 9 days. Oh,
Oh.
that is exciting.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel, Jivana?
Yeah, there's just a lot of work to do before then, but I'm excited. It's great. I actually love being online. I found it to be yeah, more accessible for people. I feel like people are connecting with accessible yoga that couldn't before. You know, people that couldn't come to our conferences because they'd have to travel or find a place to stay and whatever. And now I think more people can join us this way.
It's
So I'm
even
excited
more
about it.
accessible.
It's more accessible. Yeah. So I'm excited about that. And we have amazing presenters from all over. Like that's the other thing. We got people, usually for our conferences, we fly in some people, but a lot of people are local. In this situation, we have people from all over the world presenting, you know, presenters from Hong Kong and Australia and Italy and the UK, and then all over the US and Canada, Colombia, like from all over. So it's pretty exciting. And just people doing amazing work all over the world, including the 2 of you. So maybe we could talk about you both for a minute. Maybe you should tell us about yourselves first, because I don't know. I mean, I assume everyone knows you. They probably do, but do you want to talk about your work maybe and what you're doing these days?
Did you say what we're doing these days?
Yeah, because I feel like it's
Changes from day to day. I mean, it just, you know, we're in this interesting time. I feel like it does change day to day. I'm like, what am I doing today? You know, but it's been interesting, I think, right? Amina, like we've, you know, been working collectively on things, and we've had to, you know, take left turns, like I believe everyone has. But at the same time, it's been good because it's a learning experience. Like there's challenges that come up. So it's been learning experiences that I think have been very rewarding and rich. So
Yeah.
How did you both start working together? Because it feels like you kind of just like now are this pair, this like power duo doing all this stuff together. How did that start?
Well, let's scale it back to the very first time we met was at a yoga service conference. And that was probably back in like 2015, I think. And, you know, we just hit it off. And, you know, I met Pam, I think, in the dining hall. And we just, you know, committed to keep in touch. And when she found out I was in Delaware, and I was like, oh my gosh, you're in Maryland, like you're super close. We should, you know, do stuff. We should do something. And the next time I saw Pam, like we kept in touch through text messaging, would say hi and stuff like that. The next time I saw her was at the Veterans.
yes.
When we were writing the book for the best practices for yoga with veterans, which rekindled all of that fire and passion. And we're like, oh, we're going to do something. We need to work together. And then the next time was getting, when Pam came onto the board.
Yeah.
And when she got on the board, that was when, you know, it was a spontaneous
It was
combustion.
a wrap. It was a wrap. It was done. It was a wrap. I was like, oh man.
Yeah, and it was like, you know, a match on the flame. It was, you know, it was like that, and our creative juices just started flowing. So, you know, not just for the projects that we were working on with that organization, but we were just like, oh my gosh, like we need to do our own thing, and you know, we have such great, you know, magnetism and everything like that. So we created Retreat to Spirit. We knew we had this thing. We had this thing in mind that we wanted to do, and it was like, well, what would we name it? And I remember I was like, well, let's just give it some time. A name will just come. A name will come. And you know, I think it was like a couple of months that we put these words together, and it felt right. It felt like it was given to us, like it was gifted from the gods. It came down, and yeah, and we, you know, we downloaded it and we started to birth it. So, and shaping what that would look like, and you know, the message that we wanted to bring and the people that we wanted to serve, and being already in those leadership positions with the Yoga Service Council, we kind of knew our audience that we wanted to serve, or the people we wanted to speak to. There were certain things that we were going through, you know, in our own careers, learning how to navigate, you know, in this space, right? Because for me, it was like, I'm not in a corporate America space anymore. I'm in a yoga space, right? So my yoga practices are what keep me grounded, and kind of like, you know, set the rules for me and how I choose to navigate with people, and you know, in boardrooms and our board meetings, and you know, the community that you serve. So when I ventured into this yoga space, it became a little uncomfortable knowing that, or seeing that, or experiencing something other than that, right? So for me, I had a strong passion to work with people in yoga spaces to help them cultivate and solidify a stronger practice, right? That can help like peel back some of the layers that we don't always know that are there, to help bring about more spiritual awareness and spiritual rooting and grounding. Because we're working in these spaces, and we are helping different types of populations, right? But sometimes not able to see our own stuff. So Retreat the Spirit, we do workshops and educational materials to help people who would like to lead in some kind of way. And first thing we teach and tackle is how to be a leader for yourself, you know, advocating for yourself. I probably said too much. Pam, you want to jump in? And
no, I think that was great. That was great. I think we both, we had similar backgrounds. I think that's what drew us together. And when it's interesting because we created Retreat to Spirit prior to taking on the ED roles. I mean, so we were, you know, as board members, we realized that we worked together well anyway. And so when that came up, we were like, okay, we'll do it. And we kind of put Retreat to Spirit on the back burner. You know, we were still kind of working behind the scenes, but it wasn't as, you know, I'll say vigorous as it is now. And, you know, we always had this idea because we came from a corporate, you know, background. I worked with the Office of National Drug Control Policy. I was a researcher by trade. And then my yoga with veterans and wounded warrior caregivers, which I still do. Well, like Amina's still working in the criminal justice system with yoga. So we still have our separate businesses. But then it was like, what are those skills that we cultivated in our corporate lives that we have brought into our specific yoga population businesses that we can bring to Retreat to Spirit to have a broader kind of well-being and wellness discussion around folks who are leading. Some of the things that have come up consistently have been people asking us to mentor, people asking us, well, how did you create contracts to get things? I mean, this was, like Amina's story is different than mine. Like I was able to get into the VA and really, and I had a lot of doors slammed in my face, but, it's really the perseverance I had to then, try to work relationships with the VA or an American Legion or with some nonprofits that work with military veterans and families. So it's how to do that in these different populations. And we have similar stories. They kind of came differently at different times, but so people have been asking, well, what kind of contract did you, these kind of business questions that lived experience helps with. Like they're not teaching, I don't know where they're teaching that, because I didn't have a 200-hour where they were teaching that business 101 for if you want to teach outside the studio. Like I didn't have that.
Right.
I had a fantastic 200-hour, but it didn't teach that because people weren't doing it. So it was just like, who's doing that? I think COVID is illuminating the flexibility that's needed in this space. So you can teach in your home or somewhere else or, where you need to go. So
I know the two of you did a course for Yoga Journal too.
yes, yoga for self-care. Yeah, we were really excited about that. And Jivana was a part of it. Hello.
Yeah.
That's still
Presenters.
That's still available. People can find it on.
Yeah, it's still available.
They're ongoing.
Yeah, it's an ongoing thing. We have lots of people that are interested in it. We just talked to a group this past weekend where we're trying to pull together a lot of women who are like in corporate, which is interesting because they reached out to actually Amina, where we're going to let them do the course together, and then we'll probably do something with them after the course. So there's lots of different kind of plug and plays with the Yoga for Self-Care course that people.
Okay, maybe we could put the link later in the notes for this.
Yoga Journal.
Yoga Journal. Is that how they go? What is it?
YogaJournal.com.
Oh.
Online courses.
And they can just look under the courses. Yeah, that's great. I'm actually doing a chair yoga course for them in November. So I know they're trying.
Yeah, I mean, all you can do is try. I mean, but people will tell you, like, you this is what you did wrong. I mean, what are you going to do to fix it? Like,
yeah.
And then there's then there's real wrong. They're so wrong that there's no recourse, like last night. In the debate, you can't. There's no just no coming back.
I have to just pause for a moment because I noticed someone who's watching is Anna Killingstadt, and I just want to say it's great to see her. I don't know if you know Anna, but she helped start the conferences here in Santa Barbara. The first one we had. I had just met her because I had this idea of doing a conference, and I just met her. She just moved here. This was like 6-7 years ago or something, and yeah, maybe 7 years ago. And she had worked with Matthew Sanford. She created a lot of his training and his programs, working with him. And I had said, oh, I've always wanted to meet Matthew, and he doesn't respond to me when I reach out to him. I said, we could do a conference, and if he would come, it would be like a real thing, And so she's like, oh, I'll just call him. So she just called him, and he's like, sure, I'll come. And I was like, what? So that was really like the, beginning of this conference. It's great to see you on the call. And,
so Anna had the connections, huh, Jivana?
Anna had the connection that made it happen. It was just, it felt like kind of magical that we both just moved here, we both met, and we're talking about this idea to bring together the accessible yoga community, which, and that first conference was in 2015 here in Santa Barbara. And now we're talking about one that's going to be online, which is very exciting. So tell me about your presentation at the conference. Like, what is the topic that you're talking about?
Our topic is Retreat to Spirit, Expand into Leadership or Service. you know, what we do out in the world, or how we lead is definitely an arm of service. So basically, I think I probably alluded to it in the first question, but yeah, it's all about excavation, right? We're excavating the heart space, getting deep and into the layers of the barriers that we hold as people against other folks that we don't even know, and you know, titles and positions, and how all of these things play a part in how we show up in the world, and can sometimes like prevent us from being our authentic selves. So you know, this is a variation of a type of workshop that we have done in person around the country with some folks who have found it to be very profound, as far as like taking the time to sit and look at what's in the way, peel those things back, and create a safe space, or safe as possible, for others to share, for others to learn from each other who are, you know, within the workshop, and then to start presenting the tools that you can use to help nurture and build your own self-care practice that is meaningful, you know, not just getting a massage, or, you know, having a pedicure or things like that, right? Because, I mean, if we haven't found out by now, you know, self-care is way more than that, and it goes a lot deeper than that. And I think this year, with all this has happened, you know, with us in the world and in this country alone, you know, we have been in need for some real self-care tools and practices that can help us navigate, you know, these energies that's coming, and the changes that are happening. You know, every day is different. It's like you just don't know what you're going to wake up to. So it's like better to be rooted in yourself, you know, and in your own practices and your happiness, than to, you know, just get up every day willy-nilly thinking, you know, I'll deal with it when it comes. But no, it's like we need roots, and we need to be grounded in something, you know, that can help us when these winds come through, and these storms, and, you know, tornadoes and all that kind of stuff.
you mean
tsunamis, all of it.
But you don't just mean the natural disasters that we're also experiencing because of climate change. You mean like the political ones and the personal ones.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So our course, our workshop, our webinar that we're doing with the Accessible Yoga Conference is all rooted in that. Pam, do you want to add anything?
Can I ask you something, Pam, or either one of you? Can you clarify the leadership piece? Because I think for a lot of people, they don't see themselves as leaders, and yet I think you're defining it differently, like in a broader way.
Yeah, I don't think leaders are, you're the president of something, you're the ED of something. If you are walking into your studio and you're teaching, you're a leader.
Right.
If you are a student trying to improve your practice and you want to take that yoga off the mat into some of the work that you're doing around projects, or, you know, some initiatives at work, then there's some modicum of leadership skills that you can bring into that are steeped in yogic tradition. So it doesn't mean that you have to have this title, you know, and I think, I'm glad you asked a good question, because I think that people get caught up in having this title. I'm this, I'm CEO of this, I'm whatever. And, you know, COVID has shown us that who gives a damn? Nobody cares. What are you doing? What do you stand for? What is the movement and energy behind the work that you're doing? That's what we are now. That's what we are. So
and using your platform.
Sorry, what?
I was just adding, and using your platforms.
Yes, and helping others. How can you help lift up others? This is a perfect opportunity for like all of us to take different people's yoga classes, which I've been trying to do. You know, it's a perfect to support ourselves, to support each other. It's a perfect opportunity to, you know, join other people's like summits and it's a perfect opportunity for us to see people that maybe we wouldn't see, you know, because we're all online now. This is a perfect opportunity for that.
Yeah, I was going to say, yesterday I interviewed Hala Khoury for the podcast, and she was talking about a similar thing. She was talking about Off the Mat and how that got started. And actually, it kind of got started because some progressive political people were looking at what was happening on the right and the conservative movements and why they were being successful and what we could do on the left to also do similar things. And it had to do with grassroots organizing and community building.
Right.
And I thought, wow, that's really interesting because I feel like that's what accessible yoga is all about. And I feel like that's what you're talking about right now. Like that the idea that each of us is a leader in our community and that we can speak up, even, you know, on social media or talking to our friends, especially when things feel really chaotic and like a crisis. It kind of feels like a crisis right now, like things are getting kind of intense around the election. And I think a lot of people are feeling kind of hopeless and worried or afraid. And it feels like, you know, we need our community at these moments the most. We can be a leader, but also we can be just join with other people in our community to support each other, so that we can get through this together and actually survive, you know, and thrive, not just
right. And when the hump is done and we're in 2021, how can we hold each other, you know, up to that point and beyond? Because I feel like, you know, my emotions have been like this I mean, like everyone else this entire year. I thank God for yoga because, you know, I mean, just really. But I think if you really are struggling and you're doing yoga and you're doing a lot of asana but you still got low grade depression or malaise, you know, it's okay to go to a therapist. It's okay to have coaches and mentors. Like, it's okay to reach out for help, you know, in all of these ways. And so I hope people are doing that. I hope people are really taking care of themselves in a way that matters so that they can show up. What I have seen tend to have is people just internalize it. Well, oh, I'm supposed to do this, and I was supposed to meditate at 9 and 9 passed and I didn't do it. Like, don't be so hard on yourself and so regimented. Allow things to flow. That's one thing that, you know, if this year hasn't taught us is, you know, man plans and God laughs. You know, like you have to allow for this flowing in this, you know, upheaval and really this illumination. I mean, this is hard. This is some hard stuff. We are in a really racial, tumultuous time. Some people are saying the Civil War never ended. I saw that somewhere. I'm like, yeah, it's crazy.
It feels like that.
Yeah. So the question is, what are you going to do about it? And if you think that you can't do anything, but you're on social media posting, you know, pictures of kittens, then, you know, which is nothing wrong with kittens, you know, but what are you prepared to do? You know, what are you prepared to do in these times? And how are you removing the blinders from your own biases and some scars and issues, you know, like, what are you doing about that? That's leadership. Leadership is being scared and doing the thing anyway, you know?
Right. The courage, right? Because, I mean, this time is showing us that we need leaders. We need leadership for ourselves, right? Because I think we are a culture who, you know, has been cultivated based on the premise of, who is my leader? Who is leading us? I need strong leadership. But now that has been taken away from us, right? We don't have anything that's called strong, compassionate, you know, courageous leadership that we have to look up to. So we're being forced to cultivate the leader inside of each one of us, right? And then, you know, as Jivana said, leading in our communities. Yes, and then we cultivate this leader inside of us. We come out into our community, but we also have other leaders in our community who are on the same level. So it's not like we're leading a group of people or a population of people. No, we're all rising up and taking our rightful place in our leadership positions, self first. And then we have this, this flat surface of leaders. No one's over another.
Yeah, there's no hierarchy.
There's no hierarchy. We're just helping to lift each other up to the same platforms so we can go out as a united front and, lead for each other. So it's courageous leadership. It's
and compassionate leadership.
It's heart-centered leadership.
That's right.
All of the things that are not being displayed, in our
completely the antithesis, right?
Society,
Yeah.
So we have this dichotomy going on, right? But I think, like, had this not happened, would we be so empowered or feel the urge and the strong pull to lift each other up in this way? Never before have we done this on such a large scale, as a country. Right. So it's like this one thing had to happen, like the house had to burn down in order for us to go out and build a whole new house, right? Where we can all live in, with love and peace and security.
Yeah, building a new house.
Building a whole new house. I have a friend who last election just said he could not vote for Hillary Clinton, right? So he said, I could not, absolutely could not. So we left it there. He said, Trump got in, and he said, if Hillary had gotten in, and part of me believes this, but, people would have just remained asleep. So all of these things that are coming up that, we're talking about now, I mean, they would have still just been, everybody would have gone, oh, Hillary's in, okay. Everybody would have gone about their lives. This is the idea anyway. Everybody would have gone about their lives and just done anything. And, oh, I see the racism. And yeah, some people got shot, Black people in the street, jogging, sleeping, whatever, drinking water. And we would have just been like, oh, it's horrible. And we would have kept on going. This was like the Molotov cocktail got thrown at everybody, and, we woke up. I mean, as a collective.
Right.
Some of us were already woke. Some of us had done community work and that kind of stuff. Some of us were aware and definitely this was viscerally felt. But for those people who were not willing to step up, it's really, if you don't want to see the thing, you don't want to see it. If you didn't hear my man say, stand down, stand by and stand back, whatever last night. And I think he wasn't talking to Nazis and racists, I don't know what to tell you, so there's a disconnect. And those people have to just,
But you're right, like at least it's being talked about more openly. I mean, it's scarier, but also it's more honest because I think in the past it was there. The government's always been like that. I remember, I always talk about like the Reagan Bush years and living through the AIDS epidemic. And it was like unbelievable, the way that they handled that and the homophobia and the fact they were telling people that, gay men should die because they're sinners, and that AIDS was like retribution. And, I mean, it was unbelievable. But I feel like this issue around race has just like been there all along, and now we're seeing it more clearly. And actually, there is a revolution. I mean, the Black Lives Matter is the biggest, cultural revolution that we've ever had in this country. So it's incredible. So there is something positive. I just think at this moment it feels scary because the election itself, like, what is actually going to happen? Is there going to be actual like fighting happening? But maybe not. And so one thing that's been on my mind actually around that is just that my sense is that what they're trying to do is scare people.
Sure.
Scare them into not acting, scare them into not voting, into not coming out and being seen or heard. And I think and also being hopeless. Like, I feel like I'm seeing some posts on social media that feel very hopeless.
Sure.
And I think that's also what they want. They actually want us to be hopeless and afraid and feel small and victimized. And I think
oppressed.
The opposite is true. Huh?
The opposite is true. We are each unique and we each have power, and we can each be leaders and move our communities forward. That the opposite, if you want to, if you get caught up in watching the news all the time, consistently on that 24-hour cycle rotation, yeah, you might want to jump off a bridge or something, which is why I don't do it. Take your news in bits and then work on your practice. As yogis, you need to know what's going on, right? Like, we need to have the information, but you don't have to be steeped in it, lament in it day in and day out. Get on Twitter for a minute, figure out what's going on, get off. Like, that's what we need to start doing instead of staying on these, I know we're on Facebook now, but you know what I mean? Like, we just need to learn how to really just hop on and hop off. And we haven't been doing that. And that's why all this malaise and depression and and anxiety and fear are surfacing, because you say it's so overwhelming. What can I do? One step, one person at a time, one person at a good time. Go talk to your racist uncle, really. Go talk to somebody who's on the fence. Go talk to some people in your community. Start going to local community events. How many people know who their mayors are, who, go to these events when they start talking about, we're going to get water from this place instead of this place. You don't have to, everybody wants to go big, like, I have to make a big thing. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be that to be in leadership, and really to be coming from leadership from a space of compassion. So,
Yeah, just to vote,
Yes, to vote.
Because I think if you feel hopeless, you maybe don't even vote, and that scares me.
Yeah, because people think that it doesn't matter. My little vote doesn't count, or what can I do? What does my vote matter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like, it's not going to make any difference. We're
Right.
doomed or something. So that's not, it's not true.
It's not true, and it's like a right. Like, I feel like this is civics. This is civics 101. This is, you just do it. You just do it.
I think democracy is based on hope, that you have this hope for the future, hope for, it's like a vision, of caring for others, compassion, like to me, democracy, a lot, like the pure ideas of democracy reflect the yoga concepts, that I see others, I see myself in others, and I want what's best for them, and everyone has equal voice. I mean, that feels like an important part of the yoga tradition.
Yeah, you have to care about others. I was having this, I always tell when my sister and I are talking, I said, some people circle is them and maybe their spouse and their children. When you care about something, when you're in a space of leadership, you have to draw the circle wider, right? The wider circle. You have to you make sure that cipher is wider, and you accept other people who aren't like you, because because community is that. So a lot of people these past few years have been like this. So it's like it's like a dot. They don't care about they can't see past this. And that's in part because of fear. And there's always this fear of lack. I might lose something if this person gets in, if I vote for this person. I might lose something because I've had it this whole time. And so I don't know what I'm going to do without it. You're seeing a lot of fear play out. You're seeing a lot of it play out. And it's, We'll be talking about it in history books.
Oh, yeah.
They don't change history, They're trying to take out slavery in 1619, so if they don't, I mean, we know the truth.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, thanks. I know we're supposed to talk more about the conference.
Yeah, we went.
But
actually,
there's so many presenters in the conference that are presenting on topics that can really reach out and help us in our malaise, in our collective depression, and help empower us. So I'm so glad that this conference is happening as another tool, another force of energy to help continue to build us to do the work that we're doing and to make real difference. We need the support, all of us with this same desire and passion coming together to help each other is powerful. It's powerful, and it's what's going to keep us continuing to fill our cups and going back to our self-care practices, and knowing that we have a community of support, knowing that, you know, I can jump online and Jivana's going to be on doing a live, talking to somebody that's going to, you know, that's going to make me feel good. And I think that other leaders and people in yoga community are also struggling. You know what I mean? Because that's another thing when we feel like, oh, I don't like how I feel. This whole thing is affecting me in a much deeper way, and we think no one else is suffering with it, right? Because we don't see our own peers or, you know, our folks that we look up to,
right,
struggling. They come on live, they're smiling, everything looks great. Yes, they mention the hot topics in the world, but then, you know, they get on and they go off. And we're stuck with this heaviness. But thank you to Accessible Yoga for, and Jivana, thank you so much for all the support that you provide to the community. We need it.
This is, the conference couldn't come at a better time, I think.
That's right.
I mean, I think it's just at the best time, you know.
That's true. It'll be a lot of inspiration, a lot of support.
From around the world, the world.
Global, international, yes.
So many incredible people presenting. Actually, I just heard that our website is actually down. The whole company is having an outage, Kajabi, that we use.
Oh, wow.
It's today, but so I'm sure by later today or tomorrow it'll be fixed and people can register there. Basically, you know, the conference will be 3 days, but there's so much content that you can't even watch it all in one weekend. It's Friday, October 9th through Sunday, October 11th. So people have access to the website. Actually, it's like a student portal you'll have where you get all the recordings in there. And you have access for an entire year after you register. So you can always go back and class. Yeah. And I think we have something like 36 different presentations with over 50 people total. We have panels, workshops, classes, and some of it's pre-recorded, but most of it's live that weekend. And we have you presenting, the two of you. We also have our keynote presenters are, you know, Diane Bondi, Matthew Sanford, Michelle Cassandra Johnson, Amber Carnes, Nikki Myers, and who am I forgetting? And one more. I don't know.
Somebody
awesome. And then we have
somebody phenomenal.
We have the Trans Yoga Project doing a panel. We have, you know, State of Union Yoga doing a panel. Actually, Accessible Yoga, our board, you're on the board now for Accessible Yoga. We're going to do a panel. So there'll be a panel for people to talk about what's happening with Accessible Yoga.
Yes.
There's also presentations like in a huge range of areas, you know, anything from like body positivity and making yoga more accessible to people in larger bodies, to disability awareness, to issues around. I'm excited about a few projects. A few programs I saw are like looking at cultural appropriation and like yoga and the caste system from India, like that relationship.
Susanna Barkataki.
Oh yeah, but that one's Anjali Rao too. Yeah, Susanna Barkataki is the other keynote speaker.
Right.
Love so much.
To me.
Susanna will be a keynote speaker too. And then, yeah, just so many incredible things. Yoga for mental health, yoga for, yeah. And then we'll have these community networking sessions. So those will be live Zoom calls like this where people can get on and talk to each other. And they'll be led by, you know, leaders in those fields in all kinds of areas. And we'll get to network and talk to each other about the work that we're doing, you know, that we're doing. And actually, I think that is community building by actually meeting and talking with people rather than just sitting back and receiving all that information in a presentation.
Right.
Those will be engaged conversations where you get to share about your work. So that's exciting to me.
That's going to be great because then you'll see the little linkages and people connecting. Hey, I'm over here and I didn't know you were here, and you know, and how that synergy comes
And
together.
that happens so much at the in-person conferences. And
Yeah, it does. It does. Man, their conferences are amazing. You know, it does happen there.
So many people meet, and I thought, how are we going to do that online? But I think it's going to work. So like this on Zoom.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you both for being here and talking to me. You made me feel better. So.
I'm glad.
I'm glad. I didn't know you.
Hope alive.
In the beginning, you said you were like a little nervous, I guess, about the conference, that it's only 9 days away. So.
Well, that and then just what's happening in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
The country mostly, you know.
We are the light bearers, Jivana. We are the light bearers.
Yeah.
And yeah, and we're lighting the candles of the other folks, people who are just now awakening. And this is a beautiful time. And this is a beautiful time to be alive, despite all of the things that are happening and this energy that we're up against. This is a very beautiful time to be alive. People are waking up. We're experiencing things that we didn't experience or have experienced like 5 years ago, 10 years ago. You know, I am meeting new parts of myself. I hope everyone else is doing their practices to uncover new parts of their self, because all of this is happening to help each other. So, I mean, at the end of the day, we just have to join hands. It's like, reminds me of, does anybody remember We Are the World? And they made you come outside, and you had to come outside on the playground, and everybody joined hands, and they were like, everybody around the world is doing this right now.
Young to remember that. You're too young.
I was like, how does she remember that? Yeah.
And it was such a momentous time, you know, to be alive. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, trying to picture in my head other kids around the world, they're holding hands too. It's like we're creating this big circle of energy and love and light. So I think this is another opportune time to, you know, to lift that energy up and just work with each other and support each other.
I think I'm going to put that on Amber's playlist, because she's DJing like We Are the World. All I remember from that song is Bruce Springsteen and We Are the World. I mean, that's going on the playlist. Amber, it's coming.
And that's for the party. I didn't mention that. So we're having a party right in the conference that Amber's DJing for.
Amber's DJing.
The conference is being kicked off with a live DJ, Amber Carnes.
Does she have a DJ name?
We got to make one up. But she's multi-talented. That's all I know.
Absolutely.
DJ Amber.
DJ Amber.
Yeah.
AK, DJ AK.
AK.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. Thanks for having us, Jivana.
That was beautiful. Thank you. Thank you both. Okay. Talk to you later.
All right.
Bye. See you next time.
Bye.
All right. Take care. Bye.